I learned a long time ago in meeting settings, it's always dangerous to stand between the crowd in the evening, between them and the cocktail hour.
Yeah, baby.
And it's similarly dangerous to stand between a room like this and lunch when you can sort of smell it wafting out of the back. So just bear with me if you will. As we approach these things and try to design them to work for the people in the room, there's always anxiety about, you know, did we get it right? Will it work? Blah, blah, blah. And since I haven't been at the feast before, I had my own, you know, reasonable anxiety. And actually, if you do meetings or you make things or you write stories, you know, there's this period you go through in which uncertainty, terror is rising, and then suddenly you kind of get it, and you come to a tipping point and you realize, no, this is fine, this is going to work. So now I'm completely confident, now that I see who's here, and kind of the gestalt or the esprit of the room, I'm absolutely confident it's going to be really great. And so I don't really need to do anything, but I'm going to throw a few things into the room. Recently, in the context of meeting and getting to know Jerry, I went to a dinner, and people were asked to express why they were grateful. And somebody who happened to be a woman singer, artist from South Africa, looked around and said, I'm really grateful to be in this room and realize that I will only ever be in this room once. This room will never, ever be replicated. And suddenly I felt appreciative that she was drawing my attention to something that is, of course, truistic. I mean, look around. Look around. Don't look at me. Look around. Look around. Okay? You have never been with these people before. You will never be with them again in this way, although you might selectively. So I want you to think about a wonderful word, which is Syzygy. Just raise your hand if you know how to spell it. Okay, good. So my brother taught me this word a long time ago when he was continuously proving that he knew more than I did. And Syzygy, which is S-Y-Z-Y-G-Y, means a moment in which three celestial bodies are lined up. And if you think about that for a second, and you realize that we're all a function of things that have collided in time and space. How did your parents meet? Why that egg? Why that sperm? It just happened like that. And here you are now, completely unique in your experience, and somehow, mysteriously, life has brought you to this room today to do this thing with other people with whom you will never be again in this way, and it's an opportunity. Now, I found from just listening so far, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to write down the date of my own death. I'm going to do the math on how much of time have I got to do the things I care about. And I'm going to ask myself, for example, yeah, well, which book is actually worthy of being the next book that I read? Which idea is the idea on which I should put my attention and devote my effort? So a couple more exhortations. Right now, I submit, you have never known more than you know now. You've never been, therefore, more capable than you are now. And if you're candid with yourself, I propose that any time in your life you were clear on your intention, you were committed to what you thought was sacred, you understood the commitment required, and you acted to be that or make that or become that, you succeeded. So then the only really interesting question is, what do you want to do? Because you can. So you're going to come together after lunch at tables that are organized around work, wellness, and resilience. You're going to explore a dimension within that with someone at the table who is, has the kind of loose responsibility to facilitate lightly to get you through 3 stages. And I'm going to say this again after lunch because after lunch you'll be listening more intently than you are now, and you'll be more capable of retaining what I said. But when you're at the table, appreciative that you're only going to be here once, there's no right answer. I want you to think about what you bring plenty of now this will come up after lunch. What do you bring plenty of now on the leading edge of your own life to contribute in this setting where your plenty and the plenty of the other people at the table, in the context of this inquiry about dimensions of work, how did we get here? Where are we actually? Where could we go? How would we do that? Because at the end of the day, we believe that the tables will have produced some really great, inspiring ideas about actions that could be taken in the context of your conversation and aspirations that could be communicated. Because as someone told me a long time ago when I was working with delinquent kids, you can't aspire to a future that you can't imagine. So imagining is a critical part of the leading edge of intention. And we're going to imagine this afternoon, and I think you're going to have a really wonderful time. So as you're having lunch, what happened this morning, thinking about the uniqueness of yourself and the combination of people in the room, think about the plenty that you bring and determine that if we're not having fun this afternoon, we're not doing it right. So come back from lunch with an intention to have fun, and we'll say a little bit more about how should you decide where to sit with whom. Don't be anxious about it, okay? There are no wrong answers. Thank you very much. Enjoy lunch.